Yes.
It's okay. So till now, both of you are able to write the program and able to run it.
Right.
So, generally, till now we have studied whatever the line of code I want to write generally in the main method, because till now we learn each and every Java program start execution from main method, right? So
Mm-hmm.
generally, study I say you write code for even number and odd number. Both of you written like you have written for loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the one way. For initial, it good. Let's key number equal to let's say zero semicolon, number less than you can let's 10, and number plus plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank
when
you.
you just output here, I output n. So by default we are printing all the number, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want
Mm-hmm.
to print only even number or only odd number, so we have to apply conditions. Let's if
Mm-hmm.
this whatever the number modulo 2 is not equal to 0, let's right.
Mm-hmm.
If not equal
Mm-hmm.
to 0, that means it is a odd number.
Right.
It is a odd number.
Right.
That is the odd number. So you are getting only the odd number, right?
Yeah.
So till
Right.
now the understanding from initial learning, it is a good, but this logic for the particular even number, right?
But
Or
I do,
uh,
Ajay, bhai, there is one thing I found. Like for the
yes.
odd number, when you're running for zero is showing the odd number. For ours is like zero. For the even number we are just like running on, it is showing the zero is the even number as well.
So if you think you start with the number 0, let's
Mm-hmm.
I say equal to 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it will, if you run it. So
Mm-hmm.
they, because 0 modulo 2 0 will the 0.
Right.
If you check the output of this line,
Right.
what is the output of this line? Just take a variable here,
Mm-hmm.
integer uh, r equal to this. Let's assume and print out your what is the value of r. So you notice first n times 0 and
Mm-hmm.
0, then 0 modulo 2, they return r equal to 0, right?
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
plus you write the n as well as, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in this way you can debug whatever you are trying to understand, what is the value of 0, why not go, just print out, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
the help understand how our code going to flow. So you notice first time r becomes 0, why? Because n equal to 0, okay. So 0 modulo 2 rate, mathematically they return a 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
If here 0, I here 0 match, they print here,
Oh, okay.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
This goes. So this is the one way to write the code. But the best way, why not I am giving this block of code is a particular name, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
can anyone understand what is the meaning of this line.
Right.
So so because this is the main logic for checking the even number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of writing code inside a main method, we
Mm-hmm.
have options. We can write code outside of the main method as well as. This is the
Mm-hmm.
main method block. So we have options. We can write this line of code in a separate block, and each block I can give name. So notice this is the one block and given the name main.
Mm-hmm.
So someone read this main and understand, okay, this is the main method from where JVM start executing. So
Mm-hmm.
similarly, as a Java developer, we can also write our own named block. So I
Right.
write my own block. I write my own block here and I give the name. My name would be like is even number,
Mm-hmm.
even even number,
All right.
and here you notice this is a parenthesis. Means this will take some input. Whenever you're going to check any number, first you need a number, right? I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
take me input number, okay?
All right.
Whatever the number I receive, and I'm going to check if uh, if whatever the input number modulo 2, okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
double equal to is 0, that means return the value.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Mhm.
here I am just no notice what they return. What is this value? You notice
Mhm.
whenever it is the double equal to, this is an equality operator. The equality
Mhm.
operator always assign in the Boolean variable.
Mhm.
Boolean variable. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I say here result. So here you notice I given one name. This is my block of code. I am given
Mhm.
the particular name is even number, and what is the input? Input is the number, and what is the output? Output with the boolean,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
now we have written one block with the name is in a even number. This block take input as a number and return boolean. Is the given number is even or not? Might be
Mhm.
written true, might be written false.
Mhm.
So generally, this concept known as a in Java as a method or a function, right?
Mhm.
So this is the method syntax. Whenever
Mhm.
sometime we are going to write set of
Mhm.
block, and I
Mhm.
want to give my own name so that anyone
Mhm.
can understand. So
Mhm.
instead of now I am going to here writing this code, I say
Mhm.
simply use my logic here. This is
Mhm.
my function, and here say he pass the number, whatever the number you have. So someone read those code. Okay, you are looping from n to 10 and checking each even number, then print it.
Mhm.
So this is the even number logic, and I given the logical name. That means
Mhm.
here is the option to give logical name as a method. Just write code in this method, right? So you
Mhm.
notice I am getting the same output. Okay, okay. So I'm just one more. I'll discuss in later part. Uh, Whenever any methods are invoked from any other method, here this is the main method. Main method is by default static method. I'll discuss later part what is the static, but
Mhm.
as you understand, if from main
Mhm.
method is static method, you are going to call any other method like or your own method that also need a static as of now. So compiler, if you're not writing, compiler blame exception, right?
Mhm.
Compiler blame here. Also need a practice. Whenever you are getting some error, please try to read carefully.
Mhm.
Non-static method is even number cannot be referenced from the static context. It clear? Means that this is the main is the static context. From static context, you are calling another method like a is even number. That is non-static.
All right.
So this rule say in the Java, from static block, you always
Mhm.
need another method should be static. So if you write a static, it's happy. If from static method you can invoke another method is a static.
Mhm.
So if you run, so now we notice I am getting the same value here. But the code readability is something increase here, right?
Right.
Similarly, I want to odd number. So similarly, just I write another function and just say this is odd number. An odd number second not equal to 0, right?
Mhm.
Equal to. So someone can reuse again this code and here say is odd number, right?
Right.
So next time, whatever you're going to write, any kind of code, any kind of method, always give the logical name. That means your code should be inside a particular method.
Mhm.
So what is the method syntax? Whenever you are going to write method, method must have a one method name, right?
Mhm.
So method. Oh, so not that. What is the syntax of method? First, you have to write one method name. Method name must start with a lowercase. Method name,
Okay.
and here is the parenthesis, open and close parenthesis, and this is the body of the master body, and here what method return value. So might be return integer, float, double, what take input, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the syntax. Whenever you are going to write any method, you write a method name and open and close curly brace. And if your method take return input value and output value,
Mm-hmm.
here say take input value and return output value.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, and this is your body of means what is the logic you written here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So might be you notice in the Java you have a let's variable x. So multiple kind of method you can write. One might be method does not take any input, okay, but
Mm-hmm.
does not take any return output. So if method does not return any output, you write a void.
Mm-hmm.
Void means method is not returning anything. I'll give example. One, if method return some value means you have to write keyword one keyword return and whatever the integer value you want to return. Second situation might be one method return void but take some input. Let's key integer x. Might be case means ki multiple permutation combination you can method return and take two value. One is the integer x, another is a float x or double
Mm-hmm.
float f, right? So here Java say in the open and parenthesis, depend upon the your use case. You can pass nothing, you can pass one argument, you can pass two argument, you can pass three argument, any number of argument you can pass.
Mm-hmm.
But the rule is that this is your method name and open and close parenthesis, and here optional you can pass input parameter and optional you can return value. If the
Mm-hmm.
value you are not returning any value, then you write the void. If you return some value, then you write the specific data type. I want to return int, I want to float, or I want to double. Let's say I want to return double. So I write a double. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever your method have a some return value like int, float, double, your method must keyword return, returning value. What value they return this method?
Mm-hmm.
If your method is a void, in this case, your method has a optional. You can return value or you cannot return value.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give some till now any doubt. This is the syntax of your method or function.
Mm-hmm.
So just
So void has dual purpose.
again ask your question.
Void has dual purpose. Sometimes.
I'm giving example.
Okay.
Mm, no, void is the let's give. I am writing one method. Okay, here
Mm-hmm.
I write void uh, test. Okay, and I'm not passing anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by default I'm writing static. This is because I'm going to call this method from a static block. Okay, so if here I just write method, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and writing inside the trace. Okay, if this method return type is a void and you can call here from test. Okay, so whenever I
Mm-hmm.
call test method, they are invoking test, but this is not return any value. That means here you cannot say integer r equal to something value because this method is not returning any value because the void indication compiler, this method can be invoked but never return any value. You cannot use like this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here I can run it, but this method just print the test message. But from this body, I cannot return any value, true, false. Let's say I want to return some number like a 10. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
compiler is not happy because compiler say cannot return value from the method with a void return time. Because this you are mentioned already give it void. Void means I want this method cannot return any value. So you
Right.
cannot use here return any value.
Mm.
We can do some processing, calculation, whatever the logic you want here,
Mm.
right? But the return keyword is acceptable. Just to write return, it's okay. Not return
Mm.
any value here. Only return keyword allow. So what do you mean by here? Say that means ki if let's eat this method takes some input like integer x, okay, and I
Mhm.
say if x double equal to 0, then return. So don't do anything, right?
Right.
I and else print the value of x, right?
Mhm.
So here, this is the way. Sometime your method take input and depend upon the input. I want don't if value is the 0, don't print here, right? The control return from here. This code is not executed. And let's I pass 10, then they return the value 10, right here.
Mhm.
But I pass 0, then if they return, and let I pass like again like a 0, that means this condition meet. So our program, this method return control goes from here. They are not executing printing this line.
Mhm.
So notice they print only this line, right? This line, but they are not printing this line because from here your condition true and they
Mhm.
return from here. So this line is not printing. So these are the possible multiple possible way permutation combination you can try, you can return, but here method can take any number of argument, but return is the one in one value. You cannot say I return integer and float two value, right? Your return type would be always one value, maybe void or int or float or double or your user defined data types.
Mhm.
But input parameter can be nothing, can be one argument, can be two argument, can be three argument, can be four, five, six, any number. Till now, it is clear how to write a function or method in a Java. So next time, whenever you are going to write any code, always write inside a method,
Okay.
right?
Okay. I need to understand one more time,
Yes.
Ojebe.
Hmm.
Just like for the method you are talking about.
Ah,
So that is the first we are going to write it down the integer that is like okay that is integer or like a double or float
ah,
or something.
right.
That should be the method first, and then we are going to mention the integer, right?
No, here first things why need a method? Because initially say we have some set of line. Let's example again.
Okay.
Let's I written here integer x equal to like let's integer a equal to 10 or integer b equal to 20 and I integers let's sum equal
Mm-hmm.
to a plus b.
Must be. Yeah.
Okay. Here written like right. So
Yeah.
but I want this sum can be used multiple places. Why not give the some let someone say here x, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what is the meaning of their sum or kya? This is a plus operator. They are doing concrete or sum.
Right.
So instead of saying I want this logic should be in a particular logical name.
Right.
Okay. So I say Q, I'm going to write this line of code in a particular block. So what say? I say write this block and whatever that is logic you written, A plus B, I
Mm-hmm.
say this is the A plus B, this is the logic, but I want to give it, I know this is a sum. So first you say this is the name of your block. Say this is the sum. Okay. But
Okay.
need a open close parenthesis and from this block you want to return something value. Surely for some I want to return integer. Okay. So I say return
Mm-hmm.
it. And here say, but I want to sum means I need a two input, one integer A, one integer B. So I say
Mm-hmm.
I need one integer A, let A and another integer either B variable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whatever the value I want to plus and return to you. So instead, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now first you say this is the name of block which you are going to write. This
Right.
block required some input parameter. So these are the input parameter.
Right.
This block want to return some value or not. Same, I don't want to return any value. So I say void. Okay.
Mhm.
Void. So void means you cannot use the here return keyword, right? Just I
Uh,
calculate whatever the calculation I have, just might be I can print out here. This is the sum, right?
right. So what is the void is for? It is not giving
Yes.
me any return
Right.
in that
So
line.
now let's I'm going to call here
Okay.
some function.
Mhm.
I go to call this sum function, right? Sum
Mhm.
function here sum, and I want to pass value maybe 100 and
Okay.
comma
Okay.
500, right?
Mhm.
These two value. But you notice compiler is not happy because some function is returning nothing void, but you are expecting the whatever the output of 100 plus 15. I want to check as the output in X variable. So in this way, you can not call them. So instead of say, I can just you can do here call
Mhm.
some pass to variable. They are not returning any value. They cannot hold in a result in a variable,
Mhm.
but you print it. But say no, I want this method return some value so that I can hold this, right?
Mhm.
So instead of writing this, I say, oh, this method can return value. If say this return value, then your code must return value. So here's a
Mhm.
return, whatever the calculation you have.
Mhm.
And now you can write this code as well as. Now, whatever the 100 plus 500, you get the output in X. And here you can say whatever the output of X, right? So here your this is the method name, this is your input parameter, and this is your output parameter. What kind of things you are returning from this block?
Or input parameter inside
Eh,
the sum, like integer
Yes,
A, integer B is a
right.
integer input parameter, and
Hmm.
then output parameter is integer sum. It's a whole
Right.
thing or just only the integer?
This is your name of the method. This
Name
is the
name.
only output. Yes, this is your only output.
So this output is integer, but like
Yes,
method name is sum.
sum, right. And this is the
Oh,
open and curly brace is the closing and open is the your syntax. So that here you can pass input. Might be you want to sum with the maybe without any argument. Don't want to
mhm,
sum. Might be you can write in this way, right?
mhm,
So I
mhm,
flatly say like 20 plus 30, right?
mhm,
Because they are not
mhm,
any input, so they always hard code return value 30 plus 20 50.
mhm,
But
mhm.
I want no always I don't want always return 20 plus 30. Why I cannot take input? So this is the
Right.
input. And what value? Sometime I want no. I want to sum, but want return void. I don't want to return anything. Just print whatever the whenever that void, that means you cannot use keyword return and value. So you can here
Mhm,
comment out.
mhm,
Notice like whenever in a we declare variable, you cannot define two variable in the same. Similarly, in one class, this is the one class, my sample class. In one class, you cannot define two method is the same.
oh, definitely,
Same
definitely.
are same. So here must be change something. Let's say integer.
Yeah, or like the sum one, sum
Ah,
two, sum
right.
three,
Yeah, we
something
can
like
change
that.
the name. Yes.
Okay, name like method. That's called method name, right?
Yeah, this is the
So we
method name.
can, yeah, okay, so we can change the method name, or inside the curly brace. I mean, inside the bracket, we can change the
Number of
what's
input.
the number
Number
of
of
input.
input.
Yeah.
Input might be 0, input might be 1, input might be 2, input might be 3.
Right, right, right. Yeah, name should be like somehow. It
This
shouldn't
is
be identical. It
this is
should be changed.
yeah, this is the your our the logic. Which kind of code I'm going to write here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So generally, always free going to write any code, any logic. Always you need some problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
To solve, you're going to the solve the problem. Those problem name should be your method name, so that anyone can easily understand what you are going to the solve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like here, I'm simply saying this is the even number. Someone read this method. Oh, this function take input and returning as a particular given number is even or not. Because boolean
Right.
means true or false value. They return true or false.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your return value, this is your function name, and this is your input parameter.
Mm-hmm.
These are the optional, but this is the mandatory. This is the mandatory for any method. The
Right.
minimum syntax, your method name, open, close curly brace, and this close. And here it might be void in double anything. This is the
Mm-hmm.
minimum syntax for your method.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the just code readability, increase the code readability, multiple purpose of even number. This method. Why? Whenever you write this method code in the method, this method can be used in the multiple places, right? You can
Mm.
just call this method in different places, right?
Right.
So here in our case only one line of code, right? Might be our business requirements like 10 line of code. The 10 line of
Mm-hmm.
code can be reused multiple places just calling this method name.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
please whenever I say write the particular program, so first things you write inside your method. First you write your method, and then how to test your method. Whenever you write your method, can be tested from only in the main method, right?
Mm-hmm.
So main method you come, and here I written a sum function, but sum is not used until we cannot invoke from main method,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's I written one function like static return void and square of the number, right? Square of number. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
take one input number. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and just returning square. Square means whatever the number multiply by number. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I have written this code. Let's I print out this is the square of number. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the code I written, but you notice
Mm-hmm.
I not invoke main method. If you run this code, I'm not getting this output because I have just written the one method, but notice the complete I'm not getting output. This is the code written, but this is not used in the main method, right? So
Correct.
first you write whatever the your guys say I write your logic to square a number. So you have written the number in the method, but how can use this? How run your program? So
Mm-hmm.
always you say always our program start with the main method. So in the main block, this is the main block. Here
Mm-hmm.
somehow I have to invoke this function, invoke call this function, right?
Call
Until
call call in all the way in the top, you mean? Just I mean the class
anywhere
one?
in the main method, anyway. This is the block of the main method. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Inside the block you have to call. Okay, this is the main method block. Here you
Right.
have to call. If you cannot call here, like this is the block ending, here you
Mm-hmm.
can call or anywhere in the main method. I say this is the square of number. I
Mm-hmm.
want to find the square of our 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you now call it, they are giving the square.
It is not clear, Ajay.
Okay, 1 minute. So now notice at least whenever I call this method, I am getting this output, right? Notice.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So my question ki first I am asking write a particular program, square of the number. So you go and write the square of number in the method name. You need some input for which number you are going to square, and you are writing your code here, right? Your code is done. But once your code is done, it is not run. You cannot test it.
No.
How to test? Go to the main method. This is the main method. This is our main method, right? In main method, I have to use this method name. I'm using here is square of 8, and I pass the number 8. They give me the square of 8. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Square of 8. Now I want to square of 181, right?
It should be 81. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
Right?
Not two. Okay.
In this way, what happened? I multiple times I want to square of multiple number. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to write this code multiple times, but again passing the method and different input parameter.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you first written one logic in the method, and now method going to use inside your main method. Main method say I want to find out the square of 8, square of 181, square of 81.
Mm-hmm.
So your this set of code is executed by the three times. Notice square of 8 your 64, square of 181 is this, square of 81 is this.
Mm-hmm.
So beauty is that you have just written only one time, but this can be used by many number of times for different input.
Main thing is that you're returning because it's
Yes,
integer
right.
int, integer type.
Because here I'm returning int,
Okay.
I have to
And,
returning the value.
and static is because we are accessing this method from main. That's
Yes,
why.
you are right. Because this is the main method is static. So Java
Mm.
rules say कि if from main method you want to is accessing any other method, your defined method, then you have to also make a static.
Okay.
So this is just for the, but this is not always true कि all the methods should be static. I'll in the coming session, whenever we study more about the class, about the object, at that time we are writing many methods that not required static. Here we need, because we are testing this code from our main method. As of now, we only learn we have to test every code in the main method, right? So now,
Right.
previously this class, we are writing all the logic inside a main method. Now we move one ahead. Instead of writing code in the main method, I'm going to writing code in the different block, method name, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Similarly, in the later part, you go ahead more. Instead of writing code in the main class,
Mm-hmm.
this simple class, even I'm going to write this method in the different class, different file, even, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the only
Mm-hmm.
one sample file. I have write a different file, file one, and writing this method in a different class.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
slowly we are going ahead, right? So first
Understand.
steps, yeah, first in the, whenever we start studying, we have learned only main method, right? In main method,
Mm-hmm.
we are writing all the code. So
Mm-hmm.
now today
Mm-hmm.
we'll learn, no, we are not going to write all the logic or the code in the main method. We are moving our code from main method to outside of the block. So
Mm-hmm.
outside a block we written now here. Give the logical name. This is a method name. Now
Mm-hmm.
this method name you are going to inside your main method. The main
Mm-hmm.
method is so concise, right? And later part we also read in the main class we are not going to run any method. Even we are writing this different file, different
Mm-hmm.
class. Whenever you are
Mm-hmm.
writing any method in a different file, different class, that time this static is also optional. I'll guide
Mm-hmm.
you in the later classes how we can write method without static as well as.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing note, all the Java program is start executing from main method. Without main method, no code can be executed by the JVM.
This is the starting point,
Yeah,
starting
this is the
method.
starting point. Yes. Okay. So is
Mm.
it clear कि why static? Static, right? Because we are
Yeah.
writing this, we are going to use this square of number method inside the main method.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Why? Because the main method is a starting point to test our code. So I written this code, I want to test. So I say कि जो go and invoke a call this function from main method. So I come in the main method here and I am calling here.
Mm-hmm.
Still any confusion?
I'm good.
So again, recap, whenever you are going to write any code, any logic, any program, always prefer to use your method name. Just give your method name, and might be your logic required some input. So take input parameter and write your code, whatever the code you written here. And if your code want to return some value, then give the return types. And this is the first you write the code, and how to verify ki whatever I written my logic work properly, how to test it. So you can use this method in your main method. So main method you go just invoke your this is your method name and what the input parameter say ki I want to one integer number. So you can pass here integer number, but you cannot pass here like a float number.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But your method say ki I am expecting only input. You cannot say ki here I am going to passing as a double number.
Mm-hmm.
The compiler is unhappy. Compiler say you cannot run your code.
Mm. Correct.
Okay, right?
So
Your
what happen if I want any number like float or double or like integer? So in that scenario, what should I just write it down in there?
you have to write this code again for the double here. So notice
Okay.
now this compiler is happy. They are going to use for the double. So
Uh,
let us it is a int and it is a double. Let's they return
Mhm.
the double.
Okay, so you keep the same name for the method and you
Yes.
just change the return type.
Yes. Whatever.
uh,
So now this method invoke your double one and
Mhm.
this method invoke your integer one.
Ajay, bhaiya, there's the method you wrote it down, like first method, like 67 to 69.
Yes.
Aren't we are going to talk about the algorithm or something like that? Is it
Uh,
kind of like
yeah, this is the place where you write your algorithm. Yes. This is the
we are
algorithm
going? If I do understand right,
name.
so first of all, when we are going to write it down any program or something like that.
Uh,
So, for example, this is like you have written for the
uh,
square root. So what happens is, so we are going to just write it down the method first, how it is
right,
working, and
right.
that method we are going to just call in upper there,
In the main
how
method.
in the
How
main
to test?
method,
Yes.
how to
Test it. How to check
test it.
our code is working or not working.
Okay.
Is it correct?
It is. Yeah.
So, it's, Java language is a very strictly typed language, first class, I say. So, always they check the value. What you input passing here must match. If you pass here, let's want to pass double, then must you have a method that take input as a double. If you
Double.
want to, let's I want to pass float here, this f is
Mm,
float, but
yeah.
there is no any method for float, the compiler will give you error. There is no any method for the float, right?
Okay.
Ajay, right? Do you have to change the static double as well with the
Uh,
method type?
Here
Yeah. Yeah.
you have option. You want to return double? Yes, you can change your double.
Okay. Okay.
Once you return double, so notice that this method is taking input double and returning double. So you are calling here passing double, but you are expecting integer. So compiler is not happy. So you have to change the double here also, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I see. Okay.
Oh, it's a very specific
Very
structured.
specific. If you are passing double, what are your method return? Now your method return double. So you always returning value should be also in the double. So
Hmm.
these are the some syntax, and this is the very easy things. Just you are going when using this the multiple times. This is the very non trivial things you can say. Just habitual things.
It is easy for sure,
Uh,
but like it is for the expert.
Initially,
Like for the beginner, it is
yeah,
making me confused. If
Beginning,
confused.
when I'm going to clear about this one, then it
Yeah,
is good. So
yeah,
Ajay,
great.
yes.
just is there like give us like couple what's called that assignment so we can do it tomorrow. Just like
Yes, surely.
yeah, so
That will help. Yeah. Good
That
idea.
multiple
will help,
two,
right?
two to
I'll
three.
give you lots of assignment. Yes, surely. Okay.
Sure.
So till now, any confusion how to write a method? Always write one method name. Okay.
Yeah.
Open and close braces.
Okay.
And if you decide this method, this logic requires some input, then you take input. And
Okay.
if
Mhm.
you want to return some value, then also decide ki I'm going to return integer, float, double, or none. Nothing. Nothing that means you have mentioned the void. Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Nothing means ki you are getting some input, processing here, just here printing output. Na? You're not returning any
Mhm.
value. So that's depend upon the your question answer, right? Kind of assignment you are going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of.
So this is the basic method syntax and semantic, you can say. In the Java, sometime why say I'm many times like, okay, this is the function, sometime I'm say method, because the function name come from the C++ language, and generally whenever you are writing any method with a static clause, that means and they are in a generally utility class or some reusable component, so generally say this is the function. And but whenever in further class we are going to learn about the object oriented concept like object, class, inheritance. In this case these terminology are always going to the call as a method. So if you notice here, our compiler also help, this is the method, right? So let's say
Mhm.
I think this is the f, okay, and
Mhm.
you notice compiler blame error right here.
Mhm.
Compiler blame like here, yeah. Okay, mouse, say yes. So notice here say कि method call this, right? They are saying कि this is a method of this. You are passing a float, but defined method is only have a double or int, right? We
Mhm.
have only defined two. One is the integer, one have a double. But you want to try to pass a float, right? So they are not
Mhm.
happy. So by default, Java compiler, a Java language always say this is the method, this is the method. But sometime I, while teaching, sometimes say this is a function, because this is the just come from the C language, which I learned C and C plus plus. In C plus plus always say this is a function, right?
Mhm.
So due to that, don't confuse about the function and method. But in a Java generally say method, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So today it's anything else you want to, any doubt, confusion with the how to write method?
No,
So
no.
far, it's clear for me.
Yeah. So let's simple. You write here. Why write stating? Because I want to go to test this function in the sorry method in the main block. Possible say कि this is the void, and let's message test one here. This is the minimum syntax for any method, right? You
Mhm.
have to write at least your function, let's method name,
Method. Mhm.
method name, okay, method
Mhm.
name. And
Mhm.
your void is just indicator this method not written, means here you can write as out some message like, but you cannot uh, return any value, right?
Mhm.
This is the one minimum requirement. But whenever you, first thing you write your method name and your open close, and this is the block, open close block, and write your logic. And if you run,
Mhm.
you are getting this output is not printed anywhere because you just written, just remove it. I am not getting any such output, right?
Mhm.
Because I have just written, as of now, I've just written one method, right? But
Mhm.
not used anywhere. So if I want to test this method, this output, so I go here and invoke my function, right? So
Mhm.
whenever you're writing this set method, compiler is not understand ki what is the meaning. They by
Mhm.
default understand this is the variable name somehow. There is no such variable defined. But how compiler know this is the variable name or method name? This in open and close bracket indicate this is the method.
Mm.
Mhm.
Method means ki this is the function where there are some logic written. If you go here now, this is the logic you written, method line 1 to any number of line you written, right?
Mhm.
Whatever the logic you written. Now run it. So now this is the this is known as a function call. Here you are calling the function. Here you are defining the function. Here you are giving the definition. So
Mhm.
this section known as a function, yeah, method definition, right? Here we are defining what our method do. Here say I am going to use your method. I am going to run your method.
Mhm.
We can run same method multiple times, but
Mm.
defining only one time. So sometime I say call the method. Call means this invoking, using. Sometime I say call the method, time I say invoke the method, or sometimes say use this function. But this is the this is known as a method body, a defining method. This line
Mhm.
only say your method signature. What is the signature? Your method name, your input and output. This part known as a method signature.
Acha.
This complete thing say your method body. Your
Okay.
definition. What is the meaning of method name? Right? So this is the sometime, oh, I want to print method, but I want to some return value. So second option would be say no, I want to write the method one, but I want to return some value.
Mhm.
So here I do some calculation, but here I want to return some value, maybe 101, any value.
Mhm.
So now still I run this method one because now I just giving the defining the method. Till now this is not used anywhere. So I'm not getting output this, right?
Mhm. Right.
So how to use this function? I'm going to invoke your main method.
Mhm.
Main method. And this is still I written a method, but compiler is not happy because this understand this is a variable name. How to compiler understand this is the method? Just write open and close, right? So now
Mhm.
oh, this is the method, and you can run. Now you are getting this output: method one, method one, method one, right?
Acha. Mhm. Mhm.
But you notice this method are returning value. Now
Mhm.
compiler not enforce ki always you take value. That is your need.
Mhm.
Sometime you want to get value this 100 or not. Sometime you want value. Then you write the syntax. Okay, no, I want to this value. What is the value they return, right?
Mhm.
And you can write this way and print out your value.
Mhm.
So any method returning some value you can use two way directly without getting value or getting with value.
Mhm.
Now you notice whatever the value return, I am getting this value as well as.
All right.
Now, third possible combination might be your method want take some input, right?
Mm.
Input X, don't want return value, might be. Multiple permutation combination you will try.
Mhm.
So whenever say method not void, you cannot return any value here.
Mhm.
Maybe method 2. So now notice I have defined method 2, but till now not used. So compiler don't know about method 2, run or not run. So how
Mhm.
to use? I am going to call this method. So, but this is the how to call method open and close. Whenever you say open and close, you still say method 2 are expecting one input parameter, but you are not passing here any value. So compiler is still not happy. So here, if any method are expecting some input, you must pass some input here. Else compiler say you cannot invoke such method.
So I have to pass the value in there, like
Here
line
you will pass the
672.
78 any value, right? Now it's happy
Um,
because this you passing one integer, they are expecting one integer.
okay, because of in line 77, we wrote it down method two
Yeah,
integer value in there.
right,
That is why we have to pass that value.
right.
Okay, whatever we just mentioned there, so we have to just like write it down
Mm,
over that, like the method name in there. So that is
right.
a method name in the
Just
static void
initially
method.
just a static part, whatever the message you read. This is the whatever the business logic you written 1, 2, 3, 4 line. I'm saying right now, line one,
Mhm.
line two, nothing, right?
What is, Ajay bhai, what is the difference between like line 77 and line 73? This is called line 77. It is a whole line. It is called method. Is there
73 are going to use this method.
use this method? So
Right.
what we call 73, that line itself, that
Whenever
is,
this is the calling, whenever compiler come here, control goes from here. Let's here write as out something, right?
so we can say like it is a call the value or something.
Uh, so here, whenever you calling here, they
Yeah.
call this math from whenever compiler execute first line this main this. Whenever come this is a method call. The control goes from here to here. Okay, they are going
Right.
to executing this. Once you return back, then come here, and after that they are going to printing this. So here our uh, control is stopped to executing this until this code is not executed.
Mm.
So this is the control flow. Whenever any method call, our control goes from not going to execute next line here. Waiting, they are going to the jump to the particular definition. What the
Mhm.
logic written inside the method. Those methods first executed. And here, this is the you pass value 17, right? So this
Mhm.
17 value also copy into the x variable here.
Mhm.
And if you use the x here, you let's say x
Mhm.
equal to plus x. So whatever you value pass 17 by default come here x variable,
Mhm.
right? So generally, these the multiple permutation combination you can try might be the return value as well as right. One
Mhm.
permutation can be right. You say method 3.
Mhm.
This can return value.
Mhm.
Here say कि whatever I am x value return. Let's I multiply x multiply by 99. I return
Mhm. Mhm.
anything combination you can do. So now this x3. So now you can notice I call x3 and pass here like 8, right?
Mhm.
So whatever the
Mhm.
value pass here, they can go x. 8 become here x and print the x, and what x multiplied by 99 they return. But you are not here holding the result. They are not doing anything, right?
Right.
But you want to hold the result. If you print it, they just print this value x. But they
Mhm.
are not. You are not getting anywhere x multiplied by 99, right?
Mhm.
You are getting the value. Why? Because this method return value. But while using, you are not holding. You are not taking in a particular variable, right?
Mhm.
So instead of I say, okay, I want to get the result, okay,
Mhm.
and I want to print the result.
Right.
So whatever the value you pass, go to the here, and whatever the multiply by, they return this value, right?
Mhm.
Let's say I pass a 2. So whatever the value you are passing to, 2 going to here, and whatever the 2 multiplied by 99, they return those values.
Mhm.
Is it okay? So you try to write the multiple combinations of this method, uh, but as of now, just understand as per our requirement, maybe one argument, two argument, void, non-void, return, non-void, right? These are the permutation combinations.
Mhm.
You
I
just
have
try.
I have a question.
Yes.
Uh, if you look at the number 93,
Yes.
line number 93,
93.
yeah, so that one, it looks like it's a void, so it will not return. So this return keyword has no function, like
No
it,
use.
no use.
No
It's
use.
basically printing out 3 lines.
A
That's
three line
that's
printing after that control might be after that you have written some logic. Just
yes.
like
But
in some cases, I say here, here I written something logic here. If
Mhm.
some
okay,
condition, then this line would not print, right? Means ki void method, you can option, you can use returns or you cannot return. Even you just comment out, it's a compiler work. There is no issue. In
Mhm.
void method, return is optional things. So here
Mhm.
93 line, this void method, return is the optional thing. You can use or you can just not use.
Mhm.
But
okay,
if you
okay,
use, you cannot use any value. You cannot place any value here. Cannot
Mhm.
place any return value, right?
right.
Because this
Mhm.
say now say return x means integer value, but this method say, oh, I cannot return anything. Why you are returning with some value?
Okay, okay, yeah.
But here say return, that means return control. Whenever our control flow come here, then this, then this, then this. After this, whenever this line execute, after that this control goes back from where main method to call. Main method to call here, control go to the calling place.
Mhm.
Return is the just one uh, you can say tool in the void method have to returning control from a particular local condition,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So if you write
Mhm.
this way code, compiler is not happy because from here you are returning. So this code never
Mm.
execute, right? So this
Mhm.
is the unreachable code. But I want to say, let's x is 99, then I don't want to execute this last two line, right?
Mhm.
Let's x double equal to
Mm.
99. Okay. Then
Mm.
I don't want to execute further line. I don't want to execute this two line. Okay.
Mm. Mhm.
If your x is the non 99, maybe 2, 3, 400, then they print all this value, right? But
Right.
whenever 99, they print this value, but they are not printing this because from here control return back.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the one tool a developer have sometime in the void method. I want to return control. I don't want to execute this value for particular conditions. So in
Right.
generally this void method, you can like not use return. Return keyword used for just returning control, not the value.
Right.
Just stopping the execution of some lines of code.
Right.
So let's you try this permutation combination method syntax semantic and play with some example, and then you feel more familiar. Okay.
Now, Ajay bhai,
Uh,
if we put 99 in
okay.
line number 89,
Right.
if we put
89.
the input value 99, it will execute these three first. Then it go to the if condition.
Right.
It will not check first.
Yeah, first this print this. We always remember Java JVM is the stack based machine. Means they are executing line by line. First this line, then this line, then this line, then this
Mhm.
line. If condition true, go here. And if this is the return action, go back from where they call.
Okay.
They are not written. If this is the condition false, might be this is the condition thing, right?
Right.
If condition true, then the control goes from here to back from where this called. If condition false, then go print this and this.
Mm.
And after that, here again go from where the function is called.
Your
So
screen, it looks like your screen is frozen.
okay, let's again stop.
Maybe the last few move on the mouse we
Okay,
could not see.
let
Last few move.
okay. Uh, my screen now visual.
Yep.
Yes, it's working now.
Okay. So let's this is the method two. I am passing x equal to now 10, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And let's here say uh, uh, call call this method, okay? And
Mhm.
this is the after call, okay?
Mhm.
Right?
Mm.
And I again try to with the 99, okay? And call with the 10
Mhm.
99, just logger clear, okay?
Mhm.
So whenever first line 88 executed, after that method to call. With control
Mhm.
from here, you get this line and control goes to the F2 function, right? Here
Mhm.
they print this, and check value, not then print this and this. So I am trying to say that this code
Mhm.
have a two r- place from where the code stop executing. One, whenever this method call, always print this line, always print this line, always print this line. And
Mhm.
this is the conditional things. If this condition true, then our control goes from where this function call back, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
But if condition not true, then they are not going to inside a block, then they are going to execute in this two. So
Okay.
this two line return executed after that control goes back to the call method.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Right.
now in the case of void methods, our return keyword give another opportunity from where our method can stop working. By
Mhm.
default, if you're not writing this keyword, our method always go complete all the things and return from this last close curly braces.
Mhm.
But developer
Mm.
have an option during the code, any places you can return the control with the help of condition. So if
Mhm.
I am going to pass 10 call and after, Again call 99 and after.
Hmm.
So
Right.
we notice whenever we call method, control goes from first line print here, then come here, then complete this logic here, again back here. And after that, this line, again go control here, again come here, this line, condition true, then return out. They are not going to print this because of condition true. We are passing 99, right?
Right.
Hmm.
And again come here, then print this line.
Hmm.
Just let's run it. So you notice first I where is the okay. Okay, no, this is the place. You notice first I call with a 10, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Let me give some here indicator. So lots of, right? Okay. This is the things I want to verify, right?
Hmm.
After that. So this is the starting. When we call the 10, we call 10, and that after that, this control, they are not going to print after, right? They are
Hmm.
going to the inside a method, right? Here. Then they're printing this, right? This, three line. And after that, they are this condition is a false, right? X equal to 10, not a 99. Then print this 21, 23 as well, right?
Right.
Now,
Yes.
once this line come, control goes back from here this call from here 10, now this output come after call
Hmm.
2, right? And after that, again, this output come, call 99, right? Now
Hmm.
99 calls, after that, control goes to again this function, and here say, whatever the value 99, 1, 2, 3, now they are going to say, this is true? Yes, true. And after this, they control return back. They are not going to execute this line. And
Hmm.
again,
Right.
go
Right.
to the here after call 2, right?
Okay.
So this void method sometime need our logic to control the statement, then review the
Hmm.
control. But this is not mandatory. You can, if I remove, it also works, right? But
Yeah.
in any method we have return, you must write the return keyword. You cannot omit here. Compilers be unhappy. This method is not returning any value.
Hmm.
Notice here, missing return statement.
Hmm.
So any method you non-void, you must need to use return keyword, right? This is the mandatory thing because you are saying ki our method are returning some value, maybe integer, float, double, anything. So you must write the return keyword. So return is mandatory in the method which return value, but in the case of void method, return keyword is optional. You need use, else don't use.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's good.
Okay, good. So anything? I think we are done for today. Anything else you want to discuss?
That's good enough for today.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, great. Thank you. So today, tomorrow, you will do some exercise,
Yeah.
maybe writing one logic to sum of three number. Okay,
Okay. I already done. Okay.
note
Sum
down
of sum
sum
of
of
three,
three number. If I
like
pass three input and you return the sum.
Three number.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay. We have to.
We using the method, using
Yes,
the method.
Norwell. After today class, always try to write any code in a method, in a
Okay.
function.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
the best practice. Okay, main method is just used for testing your code, just calling the method.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
The first things you write a one function. I want to sum up three number. I pass any three number and your function return the value. And I want to another sum function that can add the float number. One function for integer number, one function for float number.
Okay. One function for.
Integer number, I want to sum up the integer.
Okay. One
Another,
function.
I want to sum up float number.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Float number. And then for double as well?
No, that's sufficient. You try it. Okay.
Okay, integer and float number. So sum of the three number, that is the assignment, right? For
Right.
tomorrow,
Yes.
sum of three numbers. So what else? Like you have the condition. You said that using the method and function,
Yes.
we are going to
Yes.
write it down
Yes.
the sum of the three numbers.
This logic, just like yesterday logic and the even number, you written in the main method. So I don't want you write any code in the main method further. Always write your code in a particular method. I give the method logical name. Someone read your method name, understand what you are going to achieve from this code.
Hmm. Good.
Method name help us increase the code readability, nothing else. Same thing you can write in main method, but whenever you're writing code in the main method, get some benefit like code readability increase. Second, code uh, usability. Same code used multiple times, your
Mhm.
code usability increase. And third, your code maintainability increase. Some in future, the same code you written a uh, multiple places. If
Yeah.
some logic change, then you have to go all the different files, change the logic. But you written a method, the same method is the 10 places, you just change your main definition and all the place also automatically change. So your code maintainability, code readability are increased if you writing code in your main your own defined method, not in a main method.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So by default Java given main method to just test your logic whatever you written,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Sure.
And one thing more you have to explore. I want to find the sum of square of even number of 1 to 50.
Oh, that's another
Assignment.
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 Okay.
You
Okay.
Okay.
have to write one method, and that method return sum of square of all even number between 1 to 10.
Uh,
Sum of
Sum of square of all even number between 1 to 10.
of
All even number.
sum of all
oh,
even
sum
number.
of square
Huh.
of
All
sum.
even number.
Okay. All even number. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You already written the even number program. So key 1 to 10, these are the even number. But I don't want to print. I want to square of each number and sum.
Okay.
Like 1 to 10, even number 2, 4, 6, 8. Right? So you have to find this and square them and sum them.
Okay.
So I want to get one output. Key, this is the sum of square of all even number between 1 to 10.
Right.
Okay.
Now the first assignment was add three number,
Yes.
only three, and
Only.
the second was three float number.
Right.
Add.
Right.
The third one is sum of square of all even number between 1 to 10.
Right.
Okay.
Sum of all. Sum of all.
Sum of square of all even number between 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Hmm.
It's a good for the day.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
try all the things. Any doubt, any confusion, we'll work together and solve this problem. Don't take pressure we have to solve the problem. Just try to, if you have a time permit, let's explore it. Okay. That's
Sure.
not
Sure.
mandatory. If we can, all the problem we can solve together. Okay. Don't
Sure.
worry.
Sure.
Sure. Sure. Thank
But
you.
you try yourself, you get more confidence. Yes, I'm able to do it.
Right.
Sure. Sure.
Those
Right.
confidence is the actual learning.
You're right.
Right. Right.
Okay, great. I think that's for the day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take
Ajay.
care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye now. Bye today.